Hey everyone, just wanted to come at you here with a quick map of the route for today's episode. I'm going to start including these each episode, that way you guys can get an idea of where exactly we are in the world and kind of what we're doing before we start the actual episode. So we'll be starting today down here in Puerto Montt, Chile, where we left off from last episode. We'll be going about 50-ish miles to the north to Osorno, Chile. And I'll zoom out the map here, that way you guys can get an overview of kind of the entire route and where we are in the grand scheme of things. And that way you can also get an idea of just how far we've come already and just how long we have to go ahead of us. Hope that gives you guys a better general overview of kind of what we're doing. And if you have any questions, as always, feel free to leave them in the comments below. All right. With that said, let's get on with today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 7 of the Pan American Journey. We're here again in Puerto Montt. As you can see, we did get the aircraft kind of all cleaned up, got all the bugs washed off, and got the aircraft nice and clean. So figured we might as well do that while we're here. We had a little bit of time. So yeah, right now we don't have any passengers on board. We are just going to be doing a little bit of a deadhead up to Osorno, I believe is the name of the town, up north. And then once we get up there, we're going to, I believe we'll be picking up some passengers there and proceeding from there. And I'll tell you guys about that flight once we actually arrive there, pick up those passengers. But yeah, we've got the aircraft all looked over while we're here. Everything is still looking pretty good. No mechanical issues were found. Oil's still looking good. The tires are looking good. And like I said, we got the plane all cleaned up. So it'll be hopefully looking a little bit better for the next few flights at least. So, but we will get loaded up in the aircraft here and get our clearance and get on our way. So we haven't put our flight plan or anything in yet. We're probably going to start the engines first, and then we will proceed to enter our flight plan and call for our clearance and everything after we get started. And before I forget, start the flight in FS economy, because I am bad about remembering to do that. Forget that frequently. It's very important that I do not forget that. And also just checking fuel quantity here. So about 24, 25, so about 50. So these have a little bit of extra. We have about like just under 70 gallons usable through FS economy. So, and that's what I had loaded through the EFB. So it looks like that's actually usable fuel. 70 gallons usable, it looks like. Great, so we've completed our pre-flight. We've don't have any passengers. Our seatbelts are secure. The door is closed and locked. Battery is off. The gear switch is down. The gear is down. The flaps are up. Brakes we've tested for firm. The flight controls are free. We've already checked that on our pre-flight. Parking brake is set. All our switches are off. Battery's on. The gear lock lights 3 green. Elevator and rudder trim are neutral. Hydraulic shutoff is open. Fuel quantity, we already checked that. Below fuel warning is off. Circuit breakers are all in, which they are. And the altimeter and clocks set. All right, engine startup. Props are full forward. The mixtures are idle cutoff. Crack the throttles. The battery's on. Low fuel warning is out. Fuel selectors. Cycle them on. You can hear them switching there. Right fuel boost comes on. Right mixture comes to full. You see the fuel flow increase on the right. Prime it there for a few seconds, fuel flow back off. And then the boost pump back off. No, actually it doesn't come back off. Alright, set our throttle for 1,000. Right fuel boost pump comes off. Gyro pressure looks good. Right alternator comes on. Keep that for the left engine, but first I'm gonna try to lean, just roughly lean the mixture while we're on the ground here. So you don't want to foul the spark plugs. Alright, props full forward, yep. Alright, this one's on, boost pump on. Checking the fuel flow. Off. There's the left engine started. Bring it back to about 1,000. Boost pump off, alternator on. Great, got our headset on now. Quiet things down for us a bit. And I'm gonna go ahead and just roughly lean this left engine as well. Alright. Didn't turn our beacon light on, we should have done that, but it is, I guess. Alright. Go ahead and turn our avionics master on. Autopilot master right now. We're going to get our flight plan punched in. I'll pull up sim brief here. View. Okay, this is our flight plan, and while we're at it, we'll go ahead and get it pulled into NAVIGRAPH as well. NAVIGRAPH charts, for some reason, causes quite a bit of lag whenever it loads in. That is our flight plan there. We'll import that. Far low. All right. Set destination, I should say. SCJO. Osorno. Right. Now. It's actually. Oh boy, it does not like that, does it? Actually, we don't need necessarily that. Okay. Load procedure, departure. And it's the Kiko 4 Alpha. There. Runway 35 is expected. Transition is done. Okay, the last waypoint is Kiko per is. So that's good. And now we proceed direct to ANSID. Okay. Back to insert before ANSID. And then direct to SCJO, runway 33. We'll just load, we're expecting 33, so we'll just load the visual 33. Can always change that later if we need to. Okay, we're going to call, let's see here. Just trying to see, there's no actual clearance frequency here, so we'll just request our clearance on ground, which is 121.9. Puerto Montt ground, Aerostar number 702 Sierra Bravo, ready to copy IFR to Osorno.
Clearance on request, your number 1. Aerostar November 702 Sierra Bravo, Puerto Montt ground, cleared to Osorno via the Kiko 4 Alpha departure, radar vector so Sridhan as filed, departure runway 35, initial climb to flight level 100, departure on 128.5, squawk 2361.
That's not gonna work. Cleared to Osorno via the Kiko 4A departure, radar vectors SOSRI, then as filed, departure runway 35, initial climb flight level 100, flight level 100, departure on 128.5 and squawking 2361, Aerostar to Sierra Bravo.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, read back correct.
236. Stand by. They said. .5, yeah, that's right. Okay. Our engines seem to have warmed up, so that's good. Cylinder head temperature looks good, oil temperature looks good, fuel pressure looks good, a little bit lower on the right than the left, but that could just be a little bit of a mismatch between the two engines. Either way, they're both fine. Oil pressures look good. Okay, we have gyro pressure now, so that's good from both engines. Alright, let's see here. Got our flight plan put in. I'm going to pull up default nav page down here and the map up here. showing 13 knot winds, so that will be fun. Look at the flight plan. Okay, so that's our first waypoint on the SID. At or above 4,000 feet, 19.2 nautical miles. Just gonna double check the chart for our departure, see if there's any speed restrictions or anything. Okay, so oof, the quality. In fact, yeah, I can't even read that. That's kind of bizarre. But it looks like, okay, departing here. So it's 4,000 and then kick up. I don't see any speed restrictions, so we should be okay. That at least. Overlay that here onto our basically our moving map display here. Although really, I guess we don't really need it. It's a pretty simple departure. There's also a VOR on the field, Osorno VOR 112.5. Oops. 112.5. Keep that tuned in. From there to the field, let's see. Okay, so all that looks good. Got our flight plan entered here. Go ahead and turn the transponder to on. And we'll call up ground for our taxi. Puerto Montt ground, the Aerostar, November 702 Sierra Bravo, we're ready to taxi IFR.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, runway 35, taxi via Alpha.
35 via Alpha, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. 71 degrees in here, and the outside air temperature is... well, that's about 60. Okay, so it's actually a little bit warmer today. Probably still need some heat on. So now let's see if I can remember. That was the defrost. That one's there. That was the temperature. Okay. Or I can break in. I'll get started. Kind of a tight turn to the right here. I do our run up down here towards the end of the runway. Trying not to taxi too fast here, especially with a tailwind. Aerostar really likes to roll down the taxiway. And now I don't believe there's technically a dedicated run-up area here.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, contact tower on 118.1.
Over to tower 118.1, and we're going to perform our run-up here down at the end of the taxiway before we call tower, if that's okay. Okay, well, I mean, I got us turned around. We're a little bit closer to the taxiway than I'd like, but we won't be here for long. Alright, spooling them up to 1500. Alright, mixtures go full rich. 1500 RPM, we'll check the engine instruments. T's and P's, all good. Alternator, we'll check for voltage. It's good. And it's good. Okay, set for 2100 RPM. Cycle the props. decrease in RPM, increase in manifold pressure. It's been sitting for a while here in Puerto Montt, so definitely want to make sure we cycle those props a few times. Right, now we'll do the mag test. So starting with the right engine, we'll go right mag, back to both, left mag, back to both. About 100 RPM drop on both mags. Now we'll do the left engine, right mag, back to both, left, back to both. So that's good. About 100 RPM drop on all mags. That's about what we would expect. I'm just gonna roughly lean out our mixture here. Around and back to 1000 RPM. Right, that's the run-up done. Before takeoff check goes, the cabin doors closed and locked. The controls are free. We'll test them again. Up on the left, down on the right, up on the right, down on the left, forward, backwards, left, right on the rudders. Okay, the controls are free and checked. Props are full forward. Fuel selectors are on. The boost pumps can come on. Instruments have been checked. We're showing about 020 on the compass and about 020 on the HSI, so that's good. Radios are set. Tower was 1181. Alright, radios are set. Flaps will set to 20 degrees for departure. Trim is set, which we're good. Pitot heat is on. Parking brake is released on the throttles. Yeah. Full forward on takeoff. Alright, let's call tower for our takeoff clearance. Puerto Montt Tower, Aerostar, November 702 Sierra Bravo, ready to go, runway 35.
Aerostar, November 70, 2 Sierra Bravo, Puerto Montt Tower, runway 35, wind 010 at 11, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35, Aerostar, 2 Sierra Bravo. Alright, let's quickly get our strobes on, and our landing lights on. Flip on the autopilot master here. Clear on the approach end. I don't see any traffic. Don't see any traffic to the left. I didn't see any in the pattern or anything. So that's good. Just line them up here real quick. Transponder can come to altitude. Zoom out a little bit. Autopilot master's on. We'll flip this to heading. Vectors on departure. Alright, heading. Yep. Trims. Okay. Let's go flying. So Brakes. Gear coming up. Autopilot coming on. Set climb power.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, contact departure.
Over to departure. Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, good day. Puerto Montt departure, Aerostar number 702 Sierra Bravo, climbing flight level 100.
Aerostar November 702 Sierra Bravo, Puerto Montt Center, radar contact, climb 10,000.
Climbing 10,000, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. It's been very poor weather every flight we've had down here lately. It's just been rather poor weather. Kind of unfortunate, but it is. Bring our attitude back with the pitch wheel here. Try to climb closer to 140 knots. Go flaps up now. And our after takeoff checklist: wheels braked, gear up, flaps up. And then the climb checklist: max climb is 122 knots. We're going to climb at 140. Fuel pumps can come off. We're above 1,000 feet. And then we're at 24 squared, and we're trying to climb between 122 and 160. So we're going to aim for about 140 if we can. And we should be expecting quite a bit of turbulence there. Should be expecting a radar vector to that first waypoint on the SID here. Increase our rate of climb a little bit still. We're still climbing pretty quickly. Of course, we are empty, and we only have about half a tank of fuel, so pretty light on this leg. Which also hopefully means that we'll get over there nice and quickly. To pick up our passengers in Osorno. Great, that's doing better on the climb now, almost 1,500 feet per minute. And we're getting about 140, 150 knots speed, which is good. Let's see, we're doing 142.
Bravo, direct SOSRI, then is filed, please.
Direct SOSRI, then is filed, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Alright, they cleared us direct, so we'll fly direct to SOSRI. And then continue on as we filed. Start putting some of the heat on. And we'll keep increasing our power to try to maintain climb power setting. decrease our pitch ever so slightly, trying to maintain that 140 knots on the climb out. Alright, nice. Climbing above these clouds. Nice blue skies on top, that's what we like to see. Still about 45 degrees Fahrenheit ambient temperature outside, so that's good. Coming up on 8,500, we can decrease our pitch a little more to maintain that 140-ish knots. Alright, we got about 600 feet to go, so we're gonna start slowly.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. When you're ready, descend altitude 7,000 feet. QNH 1014.
Descend 7,000 feet, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. So that was something I was kind of worried about, was that we were gonna have short enough of a leg that, you know, we were barely gonna be able to climb above this stuff, so they've already cleared us to descend, so...
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, descend altitude 3,000 feet.
Wow. Descending 3,000 feet, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Alright, I guess we'll descend to 3,000. Go ahead and get the approach checklist ready, I guess. Yeah, because there's...
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, turn right heading 015 vectors for the RNAV runway 33 approach.
Right to 015 vectors RNAV 33 approach, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. To 015. Why did I say 35? Oh, we departed 35. We'll take the RNAV Yankee, I'm assuming. Well, we'll just ask him. I think, though, we should be on the RNAV.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, turn left, heading 015.
Left to 015, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Puerto Montt Center, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Should we expect the RNAV Yankee or RNAV Zulu approach for runway 33?
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, expect the RNAV Yankee approach for runway 33.
Okay. Alright, RNAV Yankee. Transition vector slowed. That's loaded in there. Descend faster though. Get down to 3,000. Bring the power way back. Picked up the Osorno VOR. Descending to 3,000 feet. Okay, we've got the taxiway chart pulled up, so we're landing 33. We'll park at the Aero Club ramp here. Parking is prohibited to all types of aircraft. Taxiway access to the Aero Club. Okay, so we'll be taking the first taxiway, hopefully off here to the Aero Club. And they have a grass runway too. If the weather's nice, we can maybe try to land there. Okay, let's do our approach checklist. Boost pumps on. Mixture is full rich. Fuel selectors are on. 20 degrees of flaps below 175. Gear down below 157. Gear lights on. Check hydraulic pressure. Airspeed should be 140. Let us overshoot a bit, I'm assuming. Because of our, shoot, 1 second. It's 3,000 feet. Let's level off. 3,000. pull up our approach. RNAV Yankee for 33. Here's about 175, we can go flaps 20. To add back in our power. Goodness gracious. Inbound approach course 328. Okay, they probably should vector us back to ANSID. Have us go direct or something. So now they might just be spacing us out for traffic or whatever. Just wonder if they're gonna vector us back, maybe for the initial approach fix here at load add. Not too sure. We're at 3,000. Clouds are breaking up a little bit. Just gonna call air traffic control and see if we should expect a vector back, because I mean, almost 15 miles from the airport now. Puerto Montt approach, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Should we be expecting another vector for RNAV Yankee? They're even gonna answer us, I guess. Puerto Montt Center, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo identified. Hold on.
Hola, should we be expecting a vector towards the approach for RNAV Yankee runway 33? Yeah, they don't like that question. They don't want to answer it. Puerto Montt Center, can we please get a vector towards the approach for runway 33? Try that, see if that's the magic.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. I need you on an extended downwind for a bit. Turn right heading 180 vectors for the RNAV runway 33 approach.
Right to 180, vectors RNAV 33, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. See, I don't fully think that it even knows what it's talking about because extended downwind, we're not even on a downwind. You know, we'll just be turning back for the world's longest base leg at 16, 17 miles. We're not even a base leg. They're extending our final leg to this vector. It's a little warm in here. It's like 60 degrees outside. We're gonna just shut off the heat. Well, at least they're kind of vectoring us back in the right direction. That's good. It seemed to have broken out of the rain a little bit, which is nice. Maybe these clouds will clear up for the approach. We can make a nice visual approach. I may have spoken too soon. At least it's not below freezing, so at least we're not picking up any ice or anything. That's good.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, turn right heading 195.
Right to 195, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Some kind of farm, vineyard or something down there. Very nice. soupy weather down here in South America.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, turn right heading 215.
215, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. I'm really hoping that once we get farther north, maybe the weather will improve a little bit. So we can have a little bit more scenic flights. I am doing these flights with live weather, by the way. So, I mean, these conditions, I guess, are realistic for this area. It's just a little bit of a shame as far as the scenic aspect goes, but we knew that there might be some weather and some other things that might challenge us a bit on this journey, so although it's a bit of a bummer for the views, I do welcome a challenge, so 15 miles out now. Well, nav only. Okay, so there's no vertical guidance on this approach. So we need Ansett at 3,000, then Asasu at 1,900, and then if we're doing about 120, or say 100 knots, we should be about 560 something feet per minute.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, 6 miles from Ansett. Turn right heading 275. Cleared for the RNAV runway 33 approach.
Right to 275, cleared RNAV 33 approach, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. So we're gonna just go direct to... Oops. Direct to... flight plans. So, activate. Turn back on GPSS. Sorry, heading home. Yep. Direct to Ansett. And then 3,000 at Ansett, 1,900 at Asasu, and then 500 feet per minute from there. Sounds good to me. Line our heading bug with our approach course in case something happens. Approach isn't activated.
Sierra Bravo, contact Osorno Tower on 118.9 when established.
Tower 118.9 when established, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Alright, now we need to send to 1900, so latitude. Send it on down. $18,900. Osorno Tower, Aerostar November 702 Sierra Bravo, established on the RNAV runway 33 approach.
Aerostar November 702 Sierra Bravo, Osorno Tower, roger, continue approach.
Right. Final checks, we're going to drop the gear. Coming up on 1900. Great, there's 1900. Power. We're running a lot of drag.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, winds 180 at 7, runway 33, cleared to land.
Cleared to land, runway 33, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Right, full flaps. Bring in our power. I'm going to bring the prop RPMs up preemptively. Just with the weather being informed, unfamiliar territory, we don't want to have to mess with it last second in case of a go around. I don't believe this should be providing vertical guidance here, but it almost seems like it wants to. Okay, yeah, does have vertical guidance. Nice. Start descending. Power back a little bit. Right, landing checklist flaps full down, and power reduced to 100 knots, 3.9 miles. Should be at 1250 at this waypoint, so just a tiny tad bit high. Breaking through the clouds now, there's the runway. Wind is from the right at 6 knots, it's not bad. I said 180 at 7, we're getting almost 010 or 020 at 6, so that's interesting. Alright, we'll disconnect the autopilot now. Autopilot master can come off and fly the rest of the approach. Now that this weather's cleared up. Excuse me. Too red, too white. Re-white correcting. Goodness gracious, I'm getting a lot of turbulence though on this approach. A little bit high, but that's okay. Alright, power out now. taxi off here at the Aero Club.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, contact ground on 121.7.
Ground 21-7, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, cross runway 33.
Osorno ground, Aerostar November 702 Sierra Bravo. We're clear of runway 33. We're here at the Aero Club. We'd like to just park over here, please.
Aerostar November 702 Sierra Bravo, Osorno ground. Taxi to stand parking 6 at your discretion. Good day.
Parking our discretion, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Good day. What they mean by that, but necessarily, but we're just gonna park over here. We'll get our RPMs back to 1,000 there. Taxi through this very narrow gateway. I'm actually going to taxi off here. Try to spin it around. Oh, maybe not. Come on. This seems like as good a spot as any. Alright, so the flaps are up. Us off. Center our trims. Alright, I think that was a pretty good landing, pretty good flight. Turn off the avionics master here and get things shut down. Nope, see that bug still happens, even though I talked about it on the ATA forum. Someone was saying that that bug is because if you use the mouse wheel to start it, that the system basically thinks that you are not holding it in start. And so when you use the mouse wheel, it's saying that it basically has to hold it in start for you, and that it automatically toggles back to the both position, you know, once they start. But apparently the simulator still actually thinks it's in the start position. And so whenever you cut your mixtures, apparently it toggles back to start. But on this video, we started by clicking and dragging to the start position. And I believe we held it there until it started and then let go. So I'm not 100% sure of how that works out, but I did make a post on the A2A forums, so we'll see if somebody corroborates, you know, kind of what causes it, see if maybe I can't figure it out, because It is a little annoying to have the engines try to start every time you shut down the aircraft, especially on an AccuSim aircraft, you know, I mean, that's technically putting extra wear and tear on the starter, so definitely something that, you know, I'd like to have not happen. We can figure it out. But yeah, let's get out of the aircraft now, get it tied down, and torpedo cover on. And then let's see, we've been recording for about an hour, so we'll probably actually cut this episode here. And then when we take the passengers onto their destination, that will be the next episode. So I thank you guys very much for joining me on this flight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to stay up to date, catch the next episode. And until next time, take care and happy flying.